Good evening, this is Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovering Your Word. This is my cat Tadashi. This is my calendar. This is a teapot I've had for quite some time, even at the other house. I don't remember when I bought this mug and these two coasters, but it's a special moment for me because I also bought this. My owl has a wax in her eye. My owl tea light. This is a new, I just had to open the new incense. Oops. This is a new, These People Are Glorious. I did not even know I will want to try all of them. I found a shop. These are from, I believe, India. So I will be finding all of these. Their incense is very well made, and this, so I'm choosing Nirvana. And I'm becoming a Hindu for a minute because I'm going to tell a tale that I know is true. And it's from the book of Genesis all the way to the book of Revelation. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion. It's the poetry of T.S. Eliot, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and the Barrett Brownings and their beautiful story. I saw something today, and the way that I saw it, I've been mentioning that my poetic side was drying up again, and so I had to slow down again. So let me pour my peppermint tea. Let me go black screen. This is a whole pot, and I am choosing, and if you'll notice, I'm using the incense that's going to encourage me to 1 to 2 times a day, optimally twice, once at lunch, so 3 times if possible, to do what I know to be something that is a world and time-wide tradition around many a fire, many a home place, and it's called ceremonial tea time. It takes on many forms. Many forms. Some people use coffee. I do not use coffee for this. Coffee in America has a specific realm of operation. It also is my last name and has been misused against me metaphysically. It's not my last name, it's Curtis's. And I unwisely did not hyphenate the last name of my children on the birth certificate. If you want the honest truth, my parents nor Curtis would have let me do that. Curtis has changed. My parents never did. That's how controlled I was. Curtis has admitted he would not have even married me if I had just kept my last name, Beaty. It took him a long time to admit that and to face his own ideas and to come against the patriarchy that he actually liked, but I required removed for the sake of my 7 daughters. I would ask that you not look at him negatively. He has overcome many, many things that the Christian church did to him. I watched Curtis be hurt beyond measure everywhere because of the cultishness of Christianity and my 10 children and myself. So I'm not denigrating anyone. I'm simply telling you a beautiful evolutionary process. Yet, if I don't admit what pained me as the wife and mother in that situation, you're going to continue to do things like take Roe versus Wade away from us after 50 long years of fighting for that. And the only reason you did that is because Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. It's the only reason. She is that strong. Well, there's some strong women coming up that she has mentored. I was not one of them. I was not allowed to look at other people's beautiful lives as a Christian woman. And now I'm busy, but I don't know anybody who can do what I did today. So who's comparing gifting and who's comparing strength? I am not. We are all of my world and of my earth in solidarity that Roe versus Wade should not have been struck down. That a 10-year-old in Ohio should not be being forced to carry that pregnancy. That whoever did that had damn well better be in prison for a long time. I will tell you my next statement. I have already stated that I have taught daughters instinctively, mentored them, and then that means I've said things over the years. I've treated them in a beautiful way over the years to help them have autonomy regardless of what the society was doing, so that they could make the proper decisions for themselves when the time came as adults. I have daughters who will not have children. I also have people in my family who disagree with that. And so I don't fellowship with you in that part, because my daughters are autonomous. Maybe not at a federal level and a state level of this fucked up state, Texas. But my daughters stand solidly in their autonomy that they know they should have. And there are millions of my daughter. Now, I want to go back to Peace, Joy, and Love. Where I purchased this was a little shop right across from the H-E-B on Burnett Lane, right down the street from Monkey's Nest Coffee, where I don't go anymore. But it is a nice place. I have seen many miracles there. I have witnessed them and lived them with my gorgeous people there. But it is not where I am to be anymore. And I leave it to the king to call me back or not, to continue that biome. I have no doubt that the biome will stay. The coffee shop does not have to stay in business. That's not my business. Well, it's not my business today. I went to another coffee shop, and I'm not going to name it because it's not about where I was. My point was coffee shops and ceremonial teas in our family situations. And I'm going to go for 3 full pots of gorgeous tea a day, solitary or sharing with, it's 1 to 3 people. It's 1 to 3 people here. I've already done the artwork. For nurturing, for receiving from the Hindus, the Buddhists. I've already done a gorgeous book review. I'm probably going to put it back up somewhere else because I had to remove that blog. I've already fellowshiped with a Buddhist who's a doctor, and oh my goodness, I contributed to that beautiful aura, and they contributed to me respectfully. The Hindus are the same way. Muslims and Christians have lost me, my aura by and large. I know how to leave my blueprint politically. And today, I want you to witness my story, my new song, my new fae tale that is as old as eternity and as young as eternity. I went and met the gentleman after I had the divine appointment. His hand was ice cold black. And I want to cry with the pain of my black brothers and sisters when I show you this, because if I hadn't had him faithfully there on his computer, he was walking around like I was. He was getting his drinks, and he was just dwelling. And see, that's faithfulness. But we're alone there. And our people in our places are suffering more than likely. His are suffering more than mine, being the skin colors they are. I had to have Harry, or I wouldn't have reached our Jesus, who is black, over 2,000 years ago, or dark brown. I wouldn't have reached the form void, heaven. See, Genesis said that there was this void, and it was formless. Well, I reached the void of heaven that is a man. The man. And in America, no matter what his skin color is, coming back this time, he knows very well he needs to represent black Jesus. Jesus black. And Lady Gaga has a song, Black Jesus. So I made sure to change it a little because I didn't see. This is the first time I was mixing the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and this was the first Rune Stones that I read it this way and this way, and I read it this way first in my book, and I read it this way in the man's book. It's the first time I'd ever done that, and so as Tribe Judah elect, I'm on new territory, and you know, it's just a privilege, but people aren't listening to the King and I. And here's my tale. The King alone creates the moon. That's an E, eternally. He is the ally of women. And then when I saw this beautiful thing, I was taken back to the Genesis account in the spirit. You know how in the book of Revelation, the Apostle John says, I was caught away on the Lord's day in the spirit. Well, this wasn't the Lord's day. It was just a day. So then, and I have to finish coloring this, so you're getting it before it's completely finished. Then my poetry awakened. I did some vocabulary to help it rhyme a bit. I'm not finished with it. And this was page 2. The man. I just told you who the man is. I showed you with the artwork. The man removed Adamic rib, fashioned in all capitals, the womb in all capitals. He is alone, alone, alone. Except, just in cursive, 3 dots. In all capitals, on his wife's surface, face to face. And here, how I did face to face is all capitals. That's deity unseen, to face. That's the real people, women. Ace. Face. Moon. I'm basically telling you that the lesser light, there are many, many evolutionary creationist mysteries that intertwine. And so I'm telling you this tale of this wonderful man, and I even have poetry in one of the books that didn't make it in publication. He came riding into time on a horse. What I know, that I know, that I know, that I know, so you can listen to Beaty-Coffey for the rest of forever say, quietly in your head in English, that she knows, that she knows, that she knows, that she knows, is that there is one man who could die and arise. And all the creation, I can see the male side and the female side. I can see it all. The unseen God, the mystery of how the earth got here, and all the peoples. We know that a baby is grown in the womb. I'm going to tell you 100% that it was God Jesus, in all capitals, who removed the rib out of Adam's side, and he made the moon, today's moon. I am the moon goddess. I have the ability to interpret what I choose to interpret. In Fairy Tale, you take it or you don't. But I don't know about you. A woman, I do know about me and my 7 daughters. And he shall rule over you. In the curse on women in Genesis must be conquered. Here's the poem. The other one, the one on page 1. We must embrace the ugly postern, which is a back door or gate. We must embrace the ugly postern of our posterity, in all capitals, in wisdom, in truth, in way, that is the King, universal, that is the King. So I remain firm, and you keep guessing. And he turns the wheel of Mohandas Karam. Can't even say the last name except for Cara, which is my name, but this one is a K. Karamchand. Karamatman, I don't know, something. Gandhi's thread, transversal. Transversal is an adjective at right angles to the long axis. Gandhi weaved time. Here is where I found out that if you're going to win, my loves, you begin ceremonial tea time, my loves. It's 1 to 3 people. It's you put the phones down and you carefully talk about many things, and you bring forth the gold, and you lament your mistakes and mine. But then you pick yourself up and you pick me up in your memory, and you say, but look at us now, where we are. We're coming back together. And one of the songs I referenced was the Beatles' Come Together in page 1's poem. My tea's probably the right temperature. Cara, I don't believe you. You don't have any proof that it was only Jesus Christ that took, allegorically speaking, the rib out of Adam after he put him to sleep. And then he fashioned the moon. Well, I'll tell you what. How about you wait till I can actually talk to him? And if he wants to tweak my fairy tale about him, if he wants to rip up my Mandela, he can have at it. I'll just be glad to be in the room with him. You all produce tale after tale after tale of this and of that, and you take Roe versus Wade away. I sincerely doubt the King of Kings will have any problem with my fairy tale, but if he does, I have no problem with him correcting me and telling me another one to help us both understand this day and age. Superimposed, exposing eternity in a way that it shouldn't be exposed today. The takeaway for Christians and Muslims whose father is Allah is this. Actually, the Hindus have a better grasp of this with all of their gods and how they fashion them. In every single moment of every single piece of evolutionary creation, various male-female forms of unseen Great Spirit are creating and creating and creating. But I can tell you one moment of evolution, and only he can tell you how long, in billions of years or millions of years or thousands of years, or in one eye blink of his eyes, no matter which body form it took for him to allegorically choose the rib of Adam to fashion the moon. And now I'm going to switch gears because it wasn't Adam. But it was, but it wasn't, but it was, but it wasn't. Day 4, Genesis. Angels are created. Lilith was there. Allegory. Fatu. It was Lucifer. The man. Creation of women who do not stand against this infamy but continue to support men as idolatrous, anathema, and Lilith's in hell. Ladies, your judgment is not just as much as men. This is just a fairy tale. You watch more horror than I pontificated a fairy tale this very moment, sipping my own homemade peppermint tea. Just the first cup. The beginning, my fairy tale on YouTube will grow into more truth and light and life, because who is the way, the truth, and the life? The King. All right. Witness me. For the first time, I was delighted to find, I only knew of one of Mr. Setti's, and now I have all of these to learn to enjoy. And Tree of Life is going to be one. But this one is Nirvana, and I have already defined Nirvana in my aura, so I'm joining my aura to this man who is a very faithful man, as I'm on the other side of the world, as I'm a faithful woman. And he is faithful with incense. That means he is the archangel, as am I in Revelation 6, the incense archangel. So you've got two of us now. I see a lot of Hindus that are the archangel of incense. That is not hard to see. I've seen the king actually burn incense on video, and he's accessing Revelation 6 in my personal opinion. That's all he's doing. He knows that we're out there. He knows that we, the metaphysical reality, are out there, and he values the access of the archangel of incense. And I appreciate his appreciation of creation, us, all of us, that are beautiful. What we have to take care of, and let's say on Twitter, is what's not. It's and that's a different process. So I am calling you with this gorgeous fairy tale about the moon. I'm calling you and I to begin to spin our tales again for our children and our grandchildren, and to into history how the moon, at least one, was actually fashioned according to the book of Genesis and in league with the Apostle John, the one disciple Jesus loved. And it wasn't homosexual, y'all. Get your sexy thoughts out of my faytales until you see the reason in aborting the life supposedly growing in the 10-year-old and killing her soul because of what the law thinks it should do to her in Ohio. Until you stop that murderous behavior, I will put darts of infamy into my gorgeous faytales. I had the moment of pure ecstasy, no agony, at a coffee shop today. I asked people, the proprietors, to pray for me, and we were laughing and praying for each other, and it wasn't a prayer. I said, look, because I went up first and I bought a cup of coffee. And then I went up second and I bought a huge thing of oxygenated water. And I have it pinned on one of my Twitter. I didn't enact my tea time until I got home. But I went into a place of heaven that you just rarely find. I even went outdoors and got the sun on my face to energize again so that I could write page 2 of that I have to energize. My virtue leaves. And I couldn't have incense. I couldn't have privacy. It was a wide open place. But then there was Harry. And at the very end, I showed him a picture of my completed moon that the king himself, and only the king, created. And Harry's hand was ice cold, but he was so kind, and I said, I don't know what you do or anything, but I'm sure you saw me coloring this. And I said, I had to have you. I had to have you there. I wouldn't have reached Jesus Black. I wouldn't have been able to see the word eternally this way and have this little truth right here on this little stupid piece of paper if I hadn't had a black brother standing, sitting, walking around like me, strong. In that moment, it didn't matter what he was doing or what I was doing. It just didn't matter. I just thanked him for being in there. He was so sober-minded with me. It was a perfect moment, and that's why I cry so much. I don't want to leave my people and go back to where there's fighting. I don't ever like to do that. That's what Starfall is, my loves. Is that we choose to come back and keep weaving like Gandhi. When we'd rather stay with our people like Harry, who helped me with a piece of art. The blog article is going on runestonesandmusictoday.com, which has been frozen. I haven't been able to work with it. I have learned something. My loves, magicians, sorcerers, sorceresses, witches, warlocks. I've learned something. Runestones lead out. Tarot weaves in. Runestones lead out. Tarot weaves in. We can reach the people this way. Runestones lead out. Tarot weaves in. Blessings, not cursings. It is a strong fabric, as it were mithril in the Lord of the Rings. Lightweight. Jesus, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. There's no cultishness in the Jesus way. So it will be posted soon. Here, the ones that I have involved, here we are, crying. Here we are, helping the king. Phoenixes just came forth naturally. Here we are, the true allies worldwide. The true allies worldwide. The true allies worldwide. Timeline, forever and ever and a day. Here we are.